Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teagle. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, season 2 of Netflix's Avatar has been out for a little over a month now. We've both finally seen it, and we have notes.
I have notes.
We were talking before, we both have extensive lists of notes, and admittedly, most of mine have question marks or exclamation points or both next to them.
Yeah, a lot of question marks.
um, so just before we get into those, what are just very general thoughts about the season as a whole? What do you think?
So, book two is kind of where the show, in my opinion, goes from really, really good to S tier, like great. They obviously they introduce some of the best characters with Top and Azula. There's a lot of really good storytelling. There a lot of the conspiracy. There's a lot of really strong stuff that happens in the season, and it sets up the finale season to be amazing, and it's done really well. And it's tough because it feels like there were a lot of changes with how the story goes narratively, thematically. Things are out of order. A lot of things are just skipped with no real explanation. And it kind of it's hard because I understand you're trying to fit 20 episodes into 7 longer Netflix episodes. However, they're hour-long episodes. So
Mhm.
really, if you do the math, you could kind of make it work more or less.
Okay, so just to preface everything we're going to say today, just realize that we are judging this season of Netflix's Avatar to a season of a show that I feel is at least in the conversation for the single greatest season of television, period. like,
Yeah,
and also, just kind of to kind of back up to the last time we really delved into the show, a major theme of that entire review was there are a lot of very important building blocks and moments and things that should have happened last season that didn't, that very easily could lead to cascading consequences for things that you can't do now, or at least you do try, they won't be done properly, etc. And yeah, it also, not to mention, we we were kind of towards the end of that review going like, how are they even going to do this season in 8 episodes? There's so much stuff that they have to cover. They
they
should
couldn't do
probably
it all.
honestly split it into two just to make sure they get it all correctly. You could have an entire season in Ba Sing Se, and the funny thing
Yep.
is, they basically did that.
Yeah, they
entire,
did.
almost the entire season was in Ba Sing Se, but it was also only 7 episodes. Even though this, like, last season had 8, so I don't know why this only had 7. I don't just off rip, weird decision.
Yeah.
So just okay. So let's get into the actual you know into the actual episode. So there are there have been very few times when I'm watching a movie or a show or playing a game or whatever, and I know early into that movie or show or whatever that this is going to stick. Like there's always like sometimes something does fall apart at the end, sometimes a subplot doesn't hit you right, or sometimes character motivation, it doesn't really make sense and it kind of falls apart. Like, no, there was a moment early in episode 1 of this season where I was like, oh, they don't get it. completely missed the point of everything this show is about. That moment being in the beginning of episode 1, after they have that little like scrap in the forest we might get back to later. Aang is like, okay, I'm gonna go get Boomy now, and he just flies into Omashu, barely uncontested, and meets with Boomy. Like,
Yep. Yeah,
you
a lot of
skip
that. Yeah.
you skip everything that happened in the actual episode of meeting Azula there and meeting Ty Lee and May there. You know, Boomy, instead of being hung up in like a metal box where he easily could escape by bending with his face, but he just chooses not to.
Choose right.
He's instead just completely given up and is in like a lavish stone or metal throne room type thing, and he's just
Something like
fine
that.
being there because he failed, even though no, you like your plan was to give up, so you didn't fail. Like, every single word he said during that entire scene made absolutely no sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the fire, like literally when we left Omashu last season, he was already like gearing up the army to go fight. And then he's like, oh, actually, I chose to save the city by doing nothing. Yet the first thing we see in the season is refugees from Omashu fleeing, being chased by Fire Nation. So clearly you didn't save anybody.
Save anyone.
Like, I had to feel nothing in order to be able to learn how to feel everything. But what does that? What does that?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Like, yeah, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna use this as like our understanding of neutral Jing, and I'm like, I don't think that's what that was supposed to mean.
No,
but
the whole point of neutral Jing is he could do something. He literally has the ability, even in that episode,
and he
in the show,
knows it
he could do something. He is seen bending with
because
his
he
face,
literally
like
does later.
but he's waiting for the right moment. Like, if he's
Right.
all sad in a metal room, it like I just don't see that similar scene happening. Like, I don't get it.
Doesn't work.
And that just felt like, we'll touch on this a lot more as we go, but that literally felt like that quintessential thing this show does where, oh, a similar scene happened in the original show, so we're gonna plop a version of that scene in this show without the context, without the motivations, without anything that made that original show special, just to have it. Oh, Aang goes to Omashu. Okay, he just flies in. There are no Fire Nation guards. There's no there.
It's like a handful that he takes out instantly.
There was like
and
three
like,
in the hall.
yeah, right.
What?
And it's like, that's it.
It is completely occupied by Fire Nation. Not to mention just the fact that we didn't actually get that moment of Aang realizing that Omashu had been taken over. Like, I feel like that's also a very important moment. But like, we already kind of got spoiled by that in the last season after kind of scene of Azula taking it over. So it's not like a huge deal, but I still feel like you need that character moment for Aang to like see that. But
Right.
whatever. And then again, just proving that these people don't know what they're doing. Just throwing scenes in just because they happened in the original show. We go straight from him failing to get Booming out straight into Serpent's Pass.
Yeah. Like
A thing that happened half a season later in the original show.
Right, because I mean, we've already skipped so much already. We've completely ignored the swamp. We're just not doing that. We're just like, we're just going for it. And it's like, okay, it's hard because on the one hand, you think like, oh, in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, maybe they only had the production budget to really have one central location. But it's also like, okay, but then why would you do it this way?
Right? But the the reason why Serpent's Pass, as it was in the original show, happened at all is because Appa was already kidnapped by
Right.
that point. So they
Right.
literally had to go that way
That
with
was
their
the only
little
way to
band
get
that
there
they were
without
going with.
flying.
Here, there's literally no reason for them to do it because Appa's still with them. They could just ferry like, 10 or so people across at a time. You don't
Yeah.
like,
There's no reason not to. Which we'll come back to because again, like we get the Boss say, and it's like originally, there's no Appa. We have to like play their game, and and like we have to kind of use diplomacy. It's like, bro, as soon as they were able to just show up in the Earth King, they just dropped on their doorstep.
yeah.
And we're like, hey, we're coming in. And it's like, why don't we like they're making this huge deal in the show about like we need to talk to the Earth King. I'm like, well, you can see the palace from the window. Just go get him. Like, I don't. You've clearly done it before, so
Right?
it's like, what? Why can't we do it this time?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I
we,
mean,
we
that's what I was
already,
like the
already
whole
did
because
that in the big first episode. Why do you do that
that's
again?
what I'm saying. So I'm like, it's weird because again, it's worse in Bossing Say because the number one, there's no Fire Nation here, so it's like we could just go in. Number two, you already have a good reason because all these people that you came with have been captured, so now it's like, okay, now I'm definitely just going up to your doorstep. And over there, you have Appa, you have your transportation. Not that you need it because you could also, you can also just fly or glide, I guess, but whatever. But I'm like, you have like there's no they're not even they're just kind of waiting around for some reason.
Yeah.
And
Instead,
like I don't
the
understand why. There's not like a
the
reason for them to be there. It's just because they need to be there because that's how they know they did in the original show.
literally the whole season is written as if Appa isn't there anyway, even though he definitely is for the majority of it. Like, I'm skipping around a little bit, but I do want to go ahead and touch on all of these, most of the Appa stuff. I feel like this is important to go and get out. Like, like I said, the Serpent's Pass thing, like they didn't they didn't interact with that environment differently because they had Appa. There's like, oh, Appa's going to carry a
Right.
few people, and we're gonna shimmy across, even though you don't need to. There's not a single moment where Toph objects to riding on Appa.
Yep.
Like, there's one moment when they're flying towards the library, which again put a massive pin in that. Like,
Oh my god.
where Toph is riding on her, and when I noticed, like, wait, Toph is riding on Appa. Like, you have 10 seconds for her to make some kind of comment about not liking that. Just some comment like, "Oh, I'll never get used to that," or some random, some offhand comment about
I
that.
can't see you on here or
Nope.
whatever.
Nope. She basically never interacts with him outside of writing on him once. So when he is kidnapped, you don't feel anything because yeah, Toph is kind of trying to save him, but like you don't feel the emotion in the character because we don't know if they even have a connection at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, when they get to Ba Sing Se, Appa is just in a barn somewhere for multiple episodes at a time. The whole they
Just
basically forget
chilling.
he's there.
That's
By
what I'm saying.
himself,
I
and gone the
mean,
whole time.
Appa's literally chilling until I think the second to last episode, and
Yes,
they just kind of don't use him for
he
some reason.
he chills in a barn they get there in episode 3. He chills in a barn all of episode 4, most of episode 5, and then he's kidnapped at the end of episode 5, and they get him back in the beginning of episode 7. So he's only gone for like an hour of screen time. Like it just
Yeah,
like at that point, just don't even do the whole stealing Appa thing. Like don't even bother with it. Like
right. It
just
kind
let
of
them have
defeats the
Appa.
purpose
Yeah.
because, like, the whole thing is like not having. It's supposed to highlight how much of a negative it is to not have Appa because, like, that was their ride, not just
Yeah.
also Aang's best friend, but it's like literally their journey was made way harder because now you can't fly. You had to physically walk all the way there,
Yeah.
which was crazy.
Which, speaking of which, again, there's a lot of stuff in episode 1 and 2 we also need to touch on, but like there is a moment of just absolutely bizarreness in episode 3 when uh again, I'll put a pin in a little bit of this, where Aang and Toph are separate from the group. They deal with that situation again. We'll get to, and then it just cuts to them at the wall. Like they just made it to Ba Sing Se. Like they walked the rest of the way, even though the other people in the crew like flew an Appa away. So like, how did they get
They
there?
just caught up, I
They just
guess.
caught up. Was
You
there
just hold X to fast travel.
was
I don't
it
know.
was like multiple days in between that we didn't see? It just felt very awkward how that was done. Anyway, again, we'll get to everything with like House Assailants later. Um, I do want to say that like just like with last season, I feel like the stuff with Zuko and Iroh is if you can like if there is a highlight to be had this season, I feel like Zuko and Iroh generally are at least close to that. Um, like I feel like their like their schism should have been a little stronger, especially given the fact that uh Iroh literally killed Zhao at the end of last season. I feel that should have been factored in to
Mm,
them being exiled. Like,
I forgot about that.
yeah, because Iroh kills Zhao. There's not that great moment of of Zuko reaching out his hand and Zhao rejecting him. No, we can't have any kind of character moment. We just have Iroh just kill him. I feel there should have been a thing of like maybe Zuko was bitter, like mad at Iroh for killing Zhao. It's like like there was a chance that we could have gotten out of that fight and been welcomed back if things gone differently because you killed Zhao. People saw you do that. Now we're just straight up fugitives. Like there's no going back. But that wasn't brought up. The one thing you did change, it doesn't matter. So by the end of the episode, Zuko, after only like two scenes of them in that field, is just like has some like weird kind of shoehorned speech about not needing him anymore, then leaving. Like I don't really know where that I don't know where that came from.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you can tell when they were writing it, they know the events of what happened, but they don't understand why certain things are important for other
Yep.
things. So when they just put people places, it doesn't have the correct context a lot of the times, or it doesn't have the emotional meaning it had because it's like you don't really understand the essence of why this worked or why this is important. You're kind of just, well, this is what they do next.
Because Azula doesn't meet up with Zuko until the end of episode 2. Zuko alone had already happened, which again we'll get back to.
Yes.
The whole Zuko alone thing had already happened. Like, and so it just, I, yeah, like it happened in the original, so we got to do a version of that here. I don't. I feel like I'm gonna be repeating that mantra a lot throughout this entire thing.
No, but that's how I feel too. Like again, it's just doing it because that's what happened, but not doing it the right way or for the right reason.
Mm-hmm. But then there are moments that are completely different from the original
Yes.
that are egregiously bad, like Azula forcing Meg and Ty Lee to fight because they're scared of her killing them. What is this?
She makes them fight each other. Not only does the fight look bad,
Yeah, it's
but
like
it's
pitch dark. You can't see
also
anything. Like it's a bad
yeah,
fight.
the fight look bad. But it's like what was the point? Like it felt so much like we need to give these characters something to do because they don't really do anything.
Fight no Mashu happen.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Instead of Serpent Pass, just do that fight no Mashu. Like,
Yeah, that was
especially when
really
literally earlier that scene, May had already. It is May, not My?
May. It's May.
May. Okay. Yeah, May had literally already said that if it was between saving Zuko or Azula, she would save Zuko. So you already planted that seed of her not really caring about what Azula thinks, at least in that moment. And then immediately after being like, I'm going to kill you, so you need to, do this for me. And then she does. Like, that's so weird, especially when Azula, like, yeah, she's a bit demanding and like, it is inherently scary, but in the original show, those three were legitimate friends, at least for all most of season two.
Yeah,
Like her descent into madness in season three was because they betrayed her. At least on some level,
right,
she did care about them.
right. And it's hard because it's like on the one hand there was that thing where it's like, oh well, when she was watching the circus with Ty Lee, she made it like stupid dangerous. But it's
Yeah,
also like, yeah, but she didn't have them like fight each other thinking they were gonna try to kill each other.
yeah, yeah. She's manipulative, but not that directly. Not it just felt
Not to them.
not to them. No, and there were a couple other moments where May like basically admitted that yeah she's terrified of Azula, which she it's shouldn't be, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where like the episode ends on that note where it's like you start and end in places where I'm like the if the original show saw this happen, be like what literally what show are you trying to adapt right now?
Literally. Like they're changing so much stuff. And it's such unnecessary changes. I think that's the thing. It's like this didn't really do anything for any character. This made their development worse, in my opinion, because it's like now
Yeah.
you're like backsliding on your thoughts, on your philosophies of
Mm-hmm.
how much you know, be Razula versus whatever, and it's like, okay,
And it's not. I know whenever an adaptation happens, like it's kind of easy to fall into a rut of like, oh, I hate this change just because they change stuff, and like you can't appreciate the things that they do change that were actually improved or whatever. But in situations like that Azula thing, that is one of those cascading domino effects that, like, in season three, I feel like those kinds of character moments do fundamentally change how things will happen in season three unless they
exactly.
ignore that and make it something different.
They, but that's why I think they know that there's the big thing in season three where oh the betrayal, but it's not gonna feel
Like,
anything because it's like this was barely like this was not built up the right way. And even in this season, there's so many things. There's like this supposed to be this big moment of oh I don't believe this, and it's like this wasn't built up at all. It just kind of was written because that's how it was supposed to be written.
uh-huh.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there. So the second episode of this season, I I genuinely believe outside of the like any given finale episode of this show, I genuinely believe that Zuko alone, the Blind Bandit, and the Chase might be the three best episodes of this whole show. Like those are three very very good individual episodes that showcase very different things and basically like it's like all three of those episodes I feel are like showcase the best that this show can be. Zuko alone is just a very, very good character study on this, basically deuteragonist, like showing where he is at this point and just delving into his psychology and just how he feels in this moment. Uh, Blind Bandit, I feel, is the show at its most fun. Uh, it's just a lot of very fun bending work, just very funny stuff between all the different characters, while still being a very good story. And then the chase is just good,
It's epic.
just good. Like no notes on the entire thing. And this episode fused all three of those episodes together in a way that I question. Like I really like again because the build up to Zuko alone didn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It it didn't. I just didn't really like. And also, they changed a couple of things here and there. Of like, oh, he actually did steal from the pregnant lady, but then immediately after chastised those Earthbender guards from stealing from that boy. So like, so do you?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Like, they're like the point of of him not stealing from the pregnant lady in the original show was to show that even in his most desperate, there is still some inkling of good in him.
Yes.
But the scene with the Earthbender soldiers and that boy doesn't do the same thing, especially when we know that Zuko is at least on paper, you know, on the opposite side from those Earth King people. So like it doesn't, yeah, it's not the same. And then when the Earth Kingdom people come again to the actual farm, Zuko like blacks out and fights them, I guess, somehow without using firebending off
Yeah, I
screen.
noticed that. I was like, there isn't that the whole point?
The whole point is that
He's
he fights
supposed
them off in like a heroic moment, but the people he was there saving reject him because he's a firebender.
right.
That didn't
Like
happen.
doesn't firebend. And it's like, huh? That kind of that was like the whole point. Like it's supposed to be this big moment where it's like, even though you're doing this for the right reason, if you're at this point where it's like, the Fire Nation is taking so much for people that they don't care.
Mm-hmm. And then just randomly he overhears that the Avatar is in town and just decides to go get him because of why? Like,
I was like, you don't really that getting the Avatar doesn't really help you anymore. Which like I get he kind of struggles with that originally as well, but it's like here it makes less sense.
yeah. And then with the like whole thing with Toph, it's
Oh
another one of
boy.
those weird things where just even just from the start, it felt off. Like, you know, Aang was asking that one lady in the market, like, do you know of any strong Earthbenders in town I could learn from? And those two kids come up to them, like, oh yeah, the Earth Royal Rumble. Like, oh, where is that? And then they do a none your business joke, even though you came into this scene with the express purpose of telling Aang where it is, and
Yes.
then you say it's none of your business. Like, why are you here? You came to me.
To be fair, people do jokes like that, like that. They're like,
I,
"Oh yeah, I know where it is. Where is it?" At not, you know what I mean? Or just like
right.
something stupid, but like, yeah. Then we get the water drag, which I'm like, it's not the same, but it's okay.
No,
It's fine.
you were chastising her earlier for using water. Just whatever. After okay, so am I crazy for feeling like the Earth bending in this season looked worse than it did last season? It
No,
looked
I would
like
agree. I would
slower and
agree.
less fluid somehow.
And smaller rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree with, which is interesting because we're in book two, so like
they're
that's when
going
most
book
of the
three
earth bending happens.
because
I
I
kind of
didn't think
agree with that.
it didn't look like amazing in season one. I feel at least a little more kinetic. But here, that fight between Toph and the Boulder just looks so slow. Like not as slow as the movie, thank goodness, but still, like just every like it's supposed. This was the moment to show just how talented and strong of an Earthbender Toph is, and the fight takes like 5 minutes. It's just like it took way longer than I feel it should have. And it wasn't funny. It wasn't some spectacle. It just felt weird. I don't know. And then at the end of that fight, the her parents servant person came to the Royal Rumble arena to meet with Aang. But how do they know if they know the Royal Rumble exists? How do they not know that Toph is here? Did how do they know this could like
Nope.
that was so confusing.
They just put all the characters in that scene because they're like, let's save time.
Yeah, we already built the set. We get or whatever. We'll just do it here.
Literally.
Yeah, and then like there's a little more with Top stuff, but it's just I don't know. It's just kind of I feel like it's just a little boring and or just not interesting.
Yeah.
And then you have like some of the chase, but I feel like not the parts
I
of the
feel
chase
like
that are important, like the chase part.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you don't really have the chase. You kind of
Like,
just have the ending.
yeah, there was like the squad had fought Azula and her gang once in Omashu before to like show that yes, they are formidable opponents. But like part of the like purpose of that episode is showing that like they are this unrelenting just force of nature that we cannot get
Mm.
away from. Like, you know, we need all the help we can get just to, you know, survive against these people. And yeah, they like they met them once at like their little camp outside of wherever the Bayfongs live. But that's not the same as like being like every, you know, they can't even sleep. It's like, oh, we need to do this thing again because of the original show, but like the only thing people remember from the original show is the fight at the end. So we're gonna kind of do that, even though another reason why that fight is so impactful is because it is Aang, Azula, and Zuko all fighting each other
Yes.
with purpose of basically trying to kill the other one. Like,
Yes.
but since this was the first time Zuko and Azula had seen each other all season, and Azula is trying to tell Zuko that Ozai actually genuinely seems to want him back, and Zuko just chooses to not believe her for some reason, the fight just kind of happens.
It's like they
I'm
just do it
not.
because they know they need to, but they don't do the again. They don't do the build up to why it actually makes sense, and then
Nope.
it kind of leads to the whole problem. Oh, we're doing that thing. It's like, well, yeah, but you did it wrong.
I'm not crazy thinking that like the text of what Ozai said is that he does genuinely think it's time for Zuko to come back. Right?
No, I mean, it's also the whole thing where it's like, I mean, you can't blame Zuko for not trusting his father or his sister for any reason, because I mean,
But this is the first time he had seen Azula since he left 3 years ago. Like in the original show, like yeah, he kind of inherently doesn't like her, which we're actually gonna come back to something about that just a second. But like he kind of inherently doesn't like her just from her being Azula growing up. But like I still feel like yeah, the way they did in the original of having him be like, you know, she's here seemingly, you know, with an olive branch, like maybe we should hear her out. He
mhm.
didn't even try.
Right, and then the guards or one of the guards slips
Yeah.
and the prisoner is like
Mm-hmm.
prisoners is like
Yeah.
so get him.
Yeah, and then coincidentally, the family who Zuko was staying with during the Zuko alone bit was just in town at the time and saw Zuko genuinely trying to kill somebody and burning the entire village down. Like, yeah, actually, he has a good reason to throw a rock at you now because you're a villain. Like,
Yeah.
and then in this is kind of like a two-part problem that I think kind of like combine into two halves of possibly my least favorite scene in this entire season, if not all of fiction. Like
Oh man.
if there is one character in this entire series that should never be hit with lightning, it is Iroh. Yet at the end of the chase, Azula just is like, oh no, I'm outnumbered. And then just out of nowhere, with no buildup, just shoots Iroh with lightning and he goes down. The one guy who I know hasn't been explicitly stated at this point in this show, but we know that he invented the ability to redirect lightning.
Correct.
Like in the original show, at this point, he had already, you know,
They already
he had
taught him
already
that.
redirected like an actual lightning from the sky, and also had, you know, at the end of the first episode, like literally grabbed Azula's hand and redirected
Yeah.
the lightning she was shooting. So So we know that he is very capable of redirecting lightning, at least, going off the lore of the original show. And speaking of the original show, in that same moment, Iroh was distracted by seeing Toph, which that scene happened yet. A similar scene happened later, which is good, but like, that scene hadn't happened yet, but whatever. Like, he was distracted, so she like sucker punched him with her blue fire, which is also cool.
Yes.
She should use that more, but whatever. And that led to her escaping, not just randomly, with no objections, shooting Iroh
Lightning.
with lightning. And then him just being, no, he was like injured, but he was fine, which made me
Fine.
think like, oh, if I know maybe firebenders aren't hurt by lightning as much. That wasn't explained, but whatever. Like, oh, if Iroh just fine after getting hit by lightning, why am I to think that anyone else is going to die from this? And then people do die, so like, I don't even know what to think. So Iroh, who again just kind of shows up randomly, like we don't see him at all. We don't like between Zuko leaving and him showing up, so he's just here, I guess. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So Zuko, I guess, carries Iroh all the way to the port that has that boat that takes him to Ba Sing Se. Not explain how they got there, but people just fast travel in this show, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like, I know I just said that the whole, Iroh getting hit by lightning thing was terrible, but I genuinely think that this, like, little moment here is one of my least favorite just things they could have possibly done in this season. Iroh is, explaining, doing that scene from the original where he's, like, explaining the different elements and how, like, they actually interact and you learn a lot from all the different elements. Like, I developed this technique that, uses water bending, but, like, it's actually a fire bending, like, technique. Like, that's a very good, like, this is, like, they're, like, explaining the lore, explaining their power system, like,
yes,
power, moment. Like, it's a good character moment for Iroh. It's a good character moment for Zuko to, like, immediately after, like, want to, like, jump in and be like, okay, hit me with lightning. I can take it. Like, I'm ready for this. And Iroh's like, no, like, why would you want to do that? Like, it's only for last resort purposes. Like, you don't need to do that. But instead, while Iroh is explaining the different elements thing, Zuko is like actively trying to leave the scene.
Yeah.
He's actually like, they're gonna leave without us. Like, we need to go. And Iroh's like, patience. Like, we can have this first. This is one of the most pivotal moments in the entire season. Should be anyway. And you can have those. You can just have them get to the port later. Like, why do you have Zuko actively
like it's one thing to rush a scene, it's another thing to have the characters in your scene rushing the other characters to like speed through. It's like, bro, like this is a huge moment,
especially when this is the first major scene that Iroh and Zuko have had together since their schism. So, like, in the original, it's Zuko being like, going to him and being like, I'm sorry for, for doubting you. Like, I completely, I need to learn from you. Like, Azula has this power that I don't know how to deal with. Like, teach me how you redirected that thing. And then he taught him. Here, Iroh seems to just be teaching this to him unprompted, and Zuko seems to not care
at all.
I find that so incredibly stupid. Like, I remember just being flabbergasted about how that is how they handled that scene.
Yeah, and it's weird because like they kind of just run through it very quickly. They don't really, it's like he says the words, but it doesn't really go into like why it's important. They don't have this like teaching moment. It's this very like, like you said, like Zuko's like ignoring him basically. And it's like, bro, like this is like a huge moment. What are we doing?
And the way the scene ends, instead of him being like, I'm not going to hit you with lightning, like, this is only for defense. Like, you shouldn't ever need to use this. Like, and then Zuko like running off and like, going to that storm, like, force, like begging God to strike him down so he could try out this technique. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just a very powerful moment. Instead, Zuko was like, hit me with lightning. And then Iroh oh, like seemingly fakes an injury just to get out of that scene. I don't know. It just felt very like, oh, we need to end this scene now. So get him on the boat. It just felt very awkward. And speaking of awkward scenes, um,
Mm.
so the beginning of that episode, uh, like you have a little bit of Toph and Katara bickering, but like I feel you because you don't have the chase and other episodes to like
Mm-hmm.
really develop their dynamics. You don't really get a sense of how this journey went. You go straight from uh, Palace Bay Fong. I don't remember the name of that town. Palace Bay Fong to they're apparently almost to Bossing Say already, and then the Boulder and her teacher just show up. Literally 8 minutes happened between her parents telling them to go find her and them finding her. 8 screen minutes happened between that. What? It's not like there's some kind of season long threat that we need to keep in the back of our minds. Nope, it just immediately happened.
Happens.
It was a kind of funny scene of like them like kind of giving pointers about like ways to for Aang to get better at everything. Like I think that was a kind of funny way to do it, but it still felt just very rushed and kind of awkward, especially when, again, immediately after they take them out, they're just teleported to the wall. And then from like 12 minutes into episode 3 through all of episode 7, they're just in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And they have the gall to have like basically a filler episode in episode 4. Like I know you have that bit with uh the which again we'll get to this more later with the painted lady and the blue spirit, protecting that Fire Nation
Mm-hmm.
tribe, but like it's still the rest of that episode is basically filler. Like, basically
Yeah.
like their version of the Tales of Ba Sing Se, which is a very good filler episode, but again it is a filler episode.
They did it wrong.
They did it wrong. Oh, they did it so wrong. Like, we'll go ahead and attack that now. Iroh's whole thing for that entire episode is like longingly looking at the tree that only has significance because that is the tree that he was next to in that scene in the original show. That tree means nothing to him. He never made it into the city. He never made it past the outside wall. There is no possible way that his son could have died here. That's not possible. So why is this tree so important to him? Like why is he like struggling to like get up the courage to go to this location to mourn his son or whatever? Like it doesn't make sense. And like the whole thing with the mugger, like he just kind of shows up and Iroh like cries at him, and then the mugger also just kind of cries, and then that's it.
It's like way less cool than the original. And it's so because it's like Iroh spends his whole day helping people out and fixing
Mm-hmm.
and giving wisdom, and then it's like because it's stuff he wish he could still pass on to his son, who's
Mm-hmm.
obviously no longer alive. And it's like and here it's just kind of like we'll just kind of do this because this is a notable scene,
Yeah,
but there's
he's
no
just been
weight
kind of
behind
walking
any of
around
it.
all day being sad, which like again it's kind of important to Iroh's segment of that episode for him to like be his normal self for most of the day, finally, allowing himself to grieve when he, at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, but no, he's just sad for the entire. And that's kind of a problem for most of this show. Is that we'll touch on this even more later. But like most characters are either just sad or angry for most of the season. It's kind of hard to watch. But speaking of Iroh's son, I could be completely off about this, but I think that there was like a bit of a retcon that happened in the flashback sequence of Zuko alone. Because if I'm not mistaken, at least if we base this off of the lore of the original show, in the flashbacks, where like it showed that, where it the flashbacks with Zuko's mom and her disappearance, it's because uh, it's because there's um, a coup that's about to happen because of Iroh's son just died. So Ozai's going to basically like forcibly take the throne. And also, Azulon is like basically like because Azulon isn't happy with him with Ozai suggesting that Iroh's son died, so he can't be he's now not a good heir. Azulon is like, oh, you think he's worthless now because he lost a son? How would you feel if you lost a child?
Right.
And then the mom like basically gave herself up in his place. That didn't happen in this. Instead, something happens off screen. It's a little unclear exactly what happens. Maybe the coup is happening and like for some reason she needs to be disappeared for that to happen. Maybe because Ozai was like disappointed in his performance, he thinks. Did you get a better read on that? You watched it more recently than I
Not
did.
really.
Like,
Not really. I mean, it kind of just, like you said, it kind of isn't really explained in this show. It's one of those things where it's like either they'll like wait to explain it more later,
okay,
or which I'm not a huge fan, but whatever. Or it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, you've seen the original show, you know what's
but
happening,
if
which
it
is
if
that
the
lazy writing.
if the coup is happening at that moment, that's a retcon because in season one, Zuko was already like mostly grown at the
Mm-hmm.
funeral. Yet in this, he's like 5 or whatever. Like, so,
I, I don't know.
so either Ozai's or Iroh's son died like 4 years ago, or the coup was because of something unrelated, and Iroh's son hasn't died yet. Like, neither really makes sense to me.
Literally.
But whatever. Um, are there any other? Are there any other like little tidbits to delve into before we get like into the whole like possible
Further
Satan
in.
stuff?
Um, there. I mean, okay. So
Mm.
I try to make good things I find and make notes of there. I did. There are a few lines that I thought were pretty solid. That was great. Like they're like added, but it's like, oh, well, that was actually a good line. That was actually kind of cool. Like there was that one line where Suki's talking to Katara and she's like, "Oh
Mm.
wow, you'd be really cool. You could be a Kyoshi warrior." She's like, "Oh, but I can't be a Kyoshi warrior. I'm a waterbender." And she's like, "Oh, so is Kyoshi." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Like okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'll give you a little star for that." And then they
Mm.
lose it.
Yeah.
Also, so we're just gonna talk about this now, and and then maybe different, but I'm like, so Tom can write and can read for some reason, and that's different because specifically when she like knocks Aang under the table, she writes
uh,
like "meet me out back" basically in the table on the ground, so she can. I mean, she can, she knows how to read that, which like is
mm.
fine. It's like it's obviously possible to do that. It's just more of like, I guess that's a big change, which I guess we'll get more into as we go on. But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, that really threw me off guard the first time because I was
No, I
like,
agree.
oh,
Like,
okay,
it's like the same way that blind people read Braille. They like move their hand over
yeah,
like raised dots on a page. I guess like she's like feeling for the symbols, I guess. Although I
But
feel like it's a little
I
more complicated with their with like I don't know if it's Chinese or some kind of like amalgamated Asian language, but like
yeah.
considering each symbol means a different word, that you gotta like feel for a lot of different things.
Well, that's kind of my thing too, because also Braille is different than writing, which is
Yes.
also a thing. So it's like the fact that she's able to write something that he can understand by reading means
Yeah.
she has to know how to write the way we write and not just know Braille, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
There was
But
that moment later of the that person at the I guess protest, which felt I don't
that random, I hate, don't forget about the firebenders thing.
yeah, like I think it was a lady. She like wrote all the names
Yeah.
on the wall, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't. So clearly, right, writing with earthbending is established, but yeah, Toph specifically
Yeah.
reading.
That
And
threw me off because
I
I was
guess the
kind of like,
book she
oh.
read at the library happened to be in Braille or in a way she could
Well, that's
read.
what, right. Well, that's the thing. It's like the book very much seemed like it was in Braille, which is why I was like, okay, so she can, she can read with Braille, but she can write the way we were. I'm like, again, I don't know a lot of blind people, so maybe that is a thing that happens, but
For the record, you're not like you're right to question that, but also I question her ability to just do anything in the library, considering it was heavily established even in that episode, but also in
yep,
season one, that bending doesn't work in the spirit.
yep, yep.
Yet as soon
And
as
she,
their like spirits come out of their body, she's like able to see and go
yes,
places.
made no sense
And like she makes
whatsoever.
some comment once she's in the library about like, oh, this place vibrates so much, I'm able to see. But how did you get from your body
That doesn't
there?
make sense.
No, not at
None
all.
of that, but no, but that doesn't make sense at all because again, the like echolocation thing is purely from bending. That's not just like I can feel vibration. That's purely from earth bending. That's
Correct.
established because she
That
learned
is
that from
correct.
Badwell. That's 100% bending. That's not just innate ability. That is part of your powers.
Yes.
And then your powers is completely turned off, but it's not affected. It's like that doesn't make any. That's like I can't water bend, but I can still like blood bend. That doesn't make any sense. Like, how can
Yeah.
you use a a subset, a passive ability of your bending without using the main ability? That's
Hmm.
literally not how any of that works.
Yeah.
They easily and that's the thing. It's like why even bring her into the library in the first
When she
place?
wasn't there in the original. She
Exactly.
like granted like the
Also, the
reason why she
library
didn't
just
want to
as a
go in
whole
was different because she wasn't
can't
sure
read,
she'd be able to see it all other or someone had to stay with Appa, but like it just
and she couldn't read,
it's an
which is like the
unforced yeah, oh yeah, right.
that's
That
what I'm
was
saying.
why she
She's
couldn't
like,
read.
libraries don't really do it for me,
Yeah.
like a very logical reason to not go in.
Yeah, it's just an unforced error that they did not have to make, which like I mean we can go ahead and just talk let's just go ahead and talk about that entire library in general.
Yeah.
It's I was convinced because whatever, the owl spirit was already there
Yes.
in episode 5 or 6 of season 1. I just assumed they just weren't doing the library, but then they did it. They did it anyway,
Yeah.
and then like yeah, they made a joke about oh why can we hear him talk now, but then they didn't follow up on that. It's just I saw yeah Sokka made it like basically lampshade like oh there was no reason for them not to hear him in the first place, and now they could have made some offhand comment of like oh well now you're like in my realm or this is where my spirit is strongest or some crap. I don't know. But like
That whole and it does also. Why is Jet here?
why is Jet
What?
here? Why?
Why?
Why is
What are you doing
no?
here? Like what?
I would
What?
argue why is Jet here? This is not Jet.
Yes.
This guy
Correct.
is a sociopath. Like,
Well, you could argue the original Jet was kind of a sociopath too.
but I feel like he at least had good enough motivations, like to try to like to go against Zuko specifically. He was already kind of like suspicious of them because
Mm-hmm.
he didn't see it happen, but he at least thought he had evidence of Iroh warming the mug. So it's like they couldn't do that if they were if he wasn't a firebender, and like he like maybe recognized Zuko, but he wasn't sure. Um, and then like going kind of crazy from there. But I feel like his descent was more natural, and also since his two companions were with him the whole time, even they were like, "Dude, what are you doing?" But they just left him off screen.
Yes.
Like, okay. Also, apparently, the other two companions who weren't in this season, even in the original show, died, and their stuff
Yeah.
is in the library.
Is this the Duke's helmet? What?
What?
Wait,
They,
wait,
but
wait, wait. I was so confused by that. I'm like,
why?
when did this happen?
Oh, we gotta have a reason why they're not here in this season. Just say they're not here. Like, I don't know.
You
They
don't have
somewhere
to
else.
kill them. That was so random.
Right? It, like, but yeah, why is Jet here? Why? What does Jet gain from being in the library? Uh, Genuinely asking. Like, I don't know why he's here. Like he never gets disappeared by the Dai Li. He like he I I I
No idea.
I don't know. And his death was also very funny. Like, oh no, Jet didn't make it out. Disappear. Oh no, he's just like
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no. Speaking of didn't make it out, okay. The whole thing, the professor getting chomped was so out of nowhere. I was like,
right.
what? That was also the logic of the spirit made no sense. He was like, no, you use this knowledge against, but you use knowledge to go against them. Wow. I was like, what?
What? What does that mean?
What?
Like, fun. It's kind of funny, but also like it's a much better character moment for him to be like, oh, I'm cool staying here. This is
Yes, it's a
literally my
way
life's goal is to
cooler.
come here. Like, I'm cool. Like, I don't need to.
That's what
I
I'm
don't need to
saying. That
leave.
was such a baller moment. He just like stays there forever and just learns and gains knowledge, especially when they get like knowledge for knowledge's sake and all this stuff. And then he just gets eaten by that. I'm like, first of all, you're a spirit. You don't need to eat.
Yes.
Second of all,
True.
second of all, if he's also a spirit, what did you eat? I'm so confused. Like, none
Mhm.
of that made any sense to me because he was like chewing. I'm like, does he have a body? Like, I
Yeah.
don't like. Also, why is the library just in the spirit world?
Why is it? Oh, be, um, I
Right?
don't know.
Right? That was my thing. I was like, oh, the library. I was like, where is it? Like, what do you mean we're just going to the spirit? Like, also, it would have made more sense to leave Toph out because she's guarding just corpses, basically. Because
Yes.
I mean, like, I love Appa and Mo, but I'm like, you should have, like, I think you need a person
On
to
on
help with that.
paper, they didn't really think that they were in danger because they thought that was it Long Fang? The no, the the like head of the Dai Li guy, whatever his name was. What's his
Yeah,
name?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
They like yeah, the other people were suspicious of him, but Aang was like thought he was fully on their side. So they had no reason to think that they would be attacked, I guess. But
I
also
guess, but I
you
don't know. Just leaving all your, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe that's just me, but I'm like just leaving all your body there. Mind you, if you die, if your body dies, I'm assuming you don't come out. So
yeah, kind of a
yeah,
if either dies, both disappear. Yeah,
right.
that
Which
makes
is
sense.
crazy. Also, yeah, I don't. The whole spirit die, and then your body just disintegrates with your stuff. By the way, so
Yeah.
your clothes, Jet's equipment, his swords. I'm like, bro, what?
Hmm.
So if I was touching him, would I be gone too? Like. That was so wild.
Right.
But yeah, the library was so weird. And then there's like,
Isn't Toph struggling to
also,
keep it up?
also,
Sorry, what?
sorry, also, why is Kyoshi talking to Toph respectfully? Like,
Um,
I don't,
they're both
I
Earthbenders and
no, but
girls.
like the whole thing is like Aang can talk to his past lives and everything,
But
but they're just walking like Kyoshi's just walking around.
they're in the spirit world, therefore her spirit is also maybe there, and they're in front of a Kyoshi little shrine
I
thing.
guess, but I don't know. That just felt weird to me because I'm like, I can't think of any real moments in the original show where like the like avatars, where we're talking to anyone that wasn't the avatar
No,
wasn't
that's absolutely
Aang.
right.
So I'm
I do
like,
think
that
it's
felt so weird to me.
I do think it was very interesting and kind of clever, like use of Kiyoshi for her to be like, oh yeah, like 200 years ago, I witnessed an eclipse and the Firebenders lost their power. Like that was kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
because of a kind of mistake on their end, but it's kind of funny. Like it's lore that she
Like
lived,
300.
yeah, like for a long
Yeah.
time.
Which I don't think was like a thing at the time of the original.
No,
So like,
absolutely
yeah.
not.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. She's like, because she said she witnessed it twice, right? So it stands to
Yes,
reason
yeah.
that it would be coming again.
Hmm. So it makes no sense for Kyoshi to actually be there, but if she is, it's kind of fun to use her age as a as a factor.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I
But
guess
I don't know, it just felt random because I'm just like, huh?
and yeah, Yang Shin was also just there talking to Aang about Airbender stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like Toph gets up first and then just completely struggles to hold the library up. Like in the original, if she was like holding it, she was holding it no problem. Like the only reason
Right.
she was struggling is because she was surrounded by sand otherwise. So like she literally had to like take her hands off it to even kind of focus. But here,
Not to mention, she couldn't see the sand benders because she can't see through sand the same way. So she's
yeah,
just kind of flailing stuff trying to protect Appa, but can't really see what she's doing.
if there was
So
like
it's a lot harder.
some kind of lore or like some kind of like moment of the Dai Li, like it's one of those things where like this show easily could have there was like an obvious solution that they just didn't use. If the Dai Li were like sending out counter signals somehow, like through the ground that like were messing with her sensory, sensing, that could have been cool. That could have been a very cool way to like use the literal elements that you have at your disposal in a cool and interesting way. If you're going to change the scene, like go all in with it. Have the Dai Li use that they are, other earthbenders to interfere in that way. They just even though she can sense pretty much everything around her, and it was established earlier in the episode before, I think, that she can like create a pillar along, and like interact with Earth, a good distance away. She just
Yes. They made a whole
can't.
point about that.
What? Like she had to take her hands off to like throw a rock at nothing? No, that's not tough.
Like she can literally just and then something goes back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like stomp your feet and just like yeah, just
Yeah,
it
because she
just
literally did it. And it was a whole scene where it's like, oh yeah, I did this to Sokka on the other side of the house.
mm-hmm. So I think it's a good point to kind of talk about Aang's character just kind of as a whole, really to an extent the entire squad. I know I mentioned this earlier, but I feel like every single character in this entire show really is just hard to watch because of just how angsty they are the entire time. Even before Appa was captured, Aang was like quarreling with everybody at a drop of a hat.
Yes.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was like, and it was about dumb. Like, where were you? It's like, bro,
Why does it matter
what are
where
you
she is?
talking
You're
about,
currently
bro?
learning earthbending. It doesn't matter that she's here. Like,
Like, and again, it's weird because it's like we're not doing anything else
Yeah.
right now. Like they need like we need some plots. You know, we need something to do.
Like my roommate and I genuinely like it's as if he's like, you need to be here in the kitchen making me dinner. Like that's the kind of like vibe it came off as. Like because like why else would he need
Yeesh.
her there? Because like he
Literally.
spent all day with Toph doing earthbending, so it doesn't matter where she is.
And it's funny because
You're not
Katara
here.
literally says that.
Yeah.
She literally says, like, well, you're doing earthbending. Like, what do you want me to do? Like,
And I especially find it funny that he's specifically saying that Katara, you're not here, you need to be here, when in episode 1, Aang was actively fighting her about learning to heal. So not only in season 1 did you just completely reject the very idea of learning waterbending, you were like actively not wanting to learn one of the main tenets of this element that you need to learn.
mm-hmm.
Like what was that? Like I genuinely don't know what they were going for there because like he rejects her once and then the second time it comes up he's like I don't know if I can and then he just does. Like what was that about?
He figured it out pretty quick. Like,
it's it's almost like they had this like they knew they messed up by not having him try to learn firebending before and then have that block by having it hurt somebody. So he's like rejecting the idea of learning firebending. There's like they extrapolated that as like, oh, he's gonna be stubborn about learning or have this block about learning waterbending now. But stop that. so, so yeah, even before Appa was taken, Aang was already just being whiny, sad, and like fully trusting Long Fin more than his friends who he's known forever.
crazy. Like, and it's weird because, like, he's like, it's so wild because, like, it's really funny because, like, on the one hand, it's like, I love how the characters will say the same thing. They're like, dude, why do you trust him but you don't trust us? And it's
Yeah,
funny because, like, Yang doesn't really have a reason.
he
He just
just
kind of
stalls for a while. I was
does.
like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? Like,
Like, what are you talking about? Like, and it's so funny because, like, clearly he's playing you because you're here for like forever. Like, oh, we'll eventually
mhm,
talk to the king. Oh, we'll eventually, and like you're just doing side quests for no reason. And
mhm.
he's clearly not trying to help you. And it's like, bro, just because he's not, saying to your face, "I'm evil, I'm an idiot,"
Yeah,
doesn't mean he's like. It's weird because it's like it's not even like he's like naive. He just feels like dumb for no
right.
reason.
Like it does help that we haven't really had time with this group together because they skipped all the travel they did, the very important travel part of the season.
Yeah.
They
All the
skipped all of
character
that.
building.
Like there was like the scene at that like big party, which I think was actually a pretty fun like kind of pin in something huge just a second, put a massive pin in one aspect of that. But as far as like the the little moment that Katara and Toph had, the moment between Toph and Aang, I thought it was weird that she's like pushing him hard to learn Earthbending at this party, even like making a weird moment, like making a couple weird comments about like I walked here, who like thousands of miles on my feet just to teach you Earthbending, and you won't. Like, what do you mean? You're always on your feet. But also, you apparently don't have an issue with flying on Appa. So why are you complaining? Stop that. And then also like making a weird comment about like it took you years to learn waterbending. Maybe you're just not that skilled. What do you like? Did they spend years in the North Pole? I know Aang had a growth spurt, but like that was because the actual actor grew up. But like
All
surely this
right.
didn't like actually take years to learn
Well, I
waterbending.
don't. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I feel like obviously in the original show, the whole thing takes place in like a year, but
Like 8 months,
in
like
this
I think.
version, yeah, yeah. So like in this version, maybe they're like, oh, maybe like each season's a year or something, or I don't know. Maybe they're spacing it out, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I liked some individual character moments, but those aren't good enough really to even really justify the feeling that we're having to be like, what, like, these are your friends, like, why don't you trust them? Because really, we, the audience, don't have a reason to, because we don't really know their dynamic because it was never shown to us.
Literally. Like they cut
Um,
all the like filler moments, but they're not filler moments because they're full of character development
mhm.
and like relationship building, which is like the
Yeah,
show's bread and butter.
yeah. Like I did like that moment between Sokka and Toph at the haiku like
Oh
poetry slam.
yeah, a cool
I
battle.
Yeah, like I think including Toph in that was a very clever way to like to have a moment together and just air out grievances like bond like that. I think that was cool. Um, I even honestly really liked the kind of new development that they gave to Suki and like directly relating like Suki coming on a little stronger to Sokka like not wanting to give up Yue. I think that was actually very well done. Him not being communicative about his feelings was a little, again, kind of hard to watch, but like I think that was a kind of fun angle to take. That, however,
Oh boy.
Sokka drowning his sorrows in cactus juice.
Bro. Why is Cactus Juice at a party with the king? What are we doing? And it's not like some guy smuggled it in. It's in his like secret flask from home. It's like on
Mhm.
display in like these like pristine glasses at the
They
king's party.
and and then like once Sokka's like lying on the ground high, he just repeats lines from the original show
Yes,
without their context, or like
with
he
no
just says, "Hey,
context.
look, a giant mushroom." What are you talking about? What does
What
that mean in
mushroom?
this context?
No. It's just because it's an iconic line. They're like, we have to say it, even though
Then
it doesn't make
do
sense
it.
because
Then like
we're not in
actually
the
do it.
desert.
Like show from his perspective tripping balls. Like actually do it. But no, he just points at nothing and says, "Look, it's a giant mushroom. Maybe it's friendly." Like what is that?
And it's like, it doesn't make any sense because A, we're not in the desert, so
Mm-hmm.
like there's no cactus or
Yeah.
anything or anything like that. B, like, I mean, it doesn't make sense to drink it. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, there was such a good reason for it, but because it's such an iconic thing, even though they completely abandoned
the
the whole episode and premise of what got us that moment, they don't
mhm.
want to. They still want to get the meme in.
The reason why he's emphasizing that it's the quenchiest is because there's no other water source around, so he drank this out of like desperation.
Literally.
Like
No
just saying the
question.
words doesn't mean anything.
No. Feels
Ugh.
feels very empty when he says it, which is very disappointing.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, like you said earlier, like every now and then the show will gain a star here and there, and then immediately take two away, or something
Yes,
stupid like
yes.
that. Ah,
Yeah, I had to, yeah, that party, like, that doesn't make any sense. And like, it's so weird because, like, why did you choose this? And why does that make any sense? And
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Now speaking of memes, actually, the meme where Judy says there is no word Bostic say, even though she never actually said that in the original show.
Yes.
Yeah, well, she said it in this show in like a moment where like the music swelled and like it zoomed in on her face. She said the
Mm,
words and then like, the scene ended. Like, hey, she said the thing, even though she never actually
yes.
said like. Mm, okay,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I will say, I will say there were a few moments of Judy I did like. I do
oh
I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
yeah, like I
Judy's great.
still think the reveal when they like, oh, Judy will take you home, and it's a different person,
Mhm.
clearly.
Yeah.
It's like always that's always such a like it's always so creepy
Yes.
because like you clearly know it's a different person just pretending to be the same person,
Hmm.
and that's what makes it so scary because you're like, hey yo,
And then
like what's
later,
going on?
Azula just killing that lady.
Bro, that was so unexpected. I spat out my drink when I saw it. She's
It
like,
was like
"Oh,
shot a little
Judy."
awkwardly, but also I can think like the way it was that was kind of funny. Like,
I almost wish it was like faster, so it was just like, "Oh,
yeah.
Judy," just like there were, and that again, that is one of two times where Azula just I was like, "Oh, dang!"
Right.
Like,
When
because
she
there's
like
the other
lightning bends
scene.
all those
Yeah,
guys.
I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah. Which
dang!"
again, her just spamming lightning left and right felt very annoying and kind
Unnecessary.
of made lightning feel lame by the end of it because like when
It's like the Korra thing with lightning, and like you
yeah,
use it too much, and it's not cool anymore.
when you're squaring up against Suki, who does not have powers, you don't need to go straight for the lightning fingers. You have blue fire. That's so cool. You don't need anything like you could just have like a fireball in your fist or whatever. Like nope,
Yeah,
lightning thing.
like
So Suki
immediately goes.
right?
Yeah,
Like Suki should be dead, but she's not
yeah,
going to be because she shows
yeah.
up later. But Suki should be
Right.
dead if she starts with lightning fingers.
Also, do you think it's weird that Azula in this version doesn't do the finger thing when she bends? She just like everyone
I
else.
a part of me kind of likes how she like forms a fireball like between her nails and it like kind of shoots it out that way. That's kind of
It's
fun.
okay, but I don't know. I've
No,
never been like for
yeah,
me, I'm very accustomed to like the finger gun thing
yeah.
because it's very apparent after she snaps that she stops doing it, and you're kind of like,
Mm.
like
She's like much more
she just
direct
starts
and like yeah.
right because it's part of her. It's part of her whole precision, her preciseness, her
Mhm.
like always calculating. I'm always 100 steps ahead, like
Yeah.
prodigy vibes. But no, but I mean, she still did some stuff that I was just like, oh dang.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because a lot of the other stuff Azula does is very different in this version, which is unfortunate because
Mm.
this is when Azula does all the cool stuff in the original.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yeah. I trying to think if there's anything else like about her specifically, pre-finale that I would want to talk
mhm,
about. Because I like she overall was like as far as characterization goes, she didn't get it the worst. I felt like she was still in command of pretty much every scene she was in. I felt like they still did her story relatively, pretty much to justice, but just like with everything, it felt a little rushed. It felt like some of the stuff she was doing, she only did because it was in the original show, etc.
yes.
Uh, but like, yeah, she wasn't like completely mischaracterized like Aang and
Yeah.
Katara, and even like it's feeling there's because Katara like she on top of Aang being just depressing. She was also very unreasonable for most of this. Like I under like when it's revealed that Toss family maybe was selling
Yeah.
weapons to the Fire Nation. She
Yes.
immediately was like, "You killed my mom." Like, okay, 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 calm down, calm down.
Like pause indefinitely. Like wait a minute. No,
We don't know if
literally.
Tom was born yet. Calm down.
That's what I'm saying. Also, I find it so interesting how it's this like because she's like that in the finale with Zuko too, but it's like it's this crazy thing of like you did this, you did. It's like yeah, I wasn't even there. Like what you like you like you
My
can't be
mom
blaming me for
maybe
stuff.
sold them the ship that maybe took the guy who killed your mom there. Like that's like 4 steps removed from like stop yelling at me about like I
Also,
don't want them to be doing this. And Sokka is even like
that's what I'm
Katara like
saying.
what
I'm like,
like
yeah, because I'm like, I literally ran away from home to be here to help you
yeah
guys, and you're like, oh, you're trash because people related to you. Mind you, people that I am not in charge of
yeah.
because I'm 10. Like, I
And
mean, I don't know
it's
what you want me to do
and
about
like
that.
the way it was framed was like, oh, you were keeping this a secret from me specifically. It's like, why would you need to know this?
That's
Why is it
when would that
relevant?
have come up? Oh, hey, Katara, by the way, my parents might be arms dealers for the enemy back in the day, but honestly, I have no proof, so I'm just gonna say all I got was a hunch
Yeah.
from again that could easily be a lie to try to like manipulate us. Which like it's so funny because like I get the idea is like long things like to like divide them and everything, but I'm like that should not have worked at all.
Absolutely not.
Like that should have been like, hey bro, you're actively trying to like kill us all. So like I don't really care what you think.
Especially when like to juxtapose it with the original show, the reason why they were separated is because like they thought they had won. Like, oh, we told the Earth King about the war. Like, Aang is like, I'm in a good enough place where I can go, unlock the Avatar state. Uh, Sokka and Katara are gonna go meet Bato or their dad or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
and uh, Toph thinks she's meeting her parents. Like we won. We can take a little break. But
Yeah.
here, like they definitively lost that moment, and then in a very uncomfortable scene had this like massive blowout argument that was just so not fun to
Forced.
watch, and that separated them. It just I just didn't really care for.
Yeah. And it's weird because again, it makes no sense how we got here. It's like none of the things you're upset about are like logical at all.
Yeah,
Like
why the heck would Aang be upset that Katara was painted ladying around at night?
that's what
Why
I'm
would he
saying.
care?
It's like, oh, you use that against he was able to use it against us. I'm like, bro, he was already against you the whole time. Why
Mm-hmm.
aren't you mad at him? Like,
And even Sokka was like, "You were helping Fire Nations." Like, why does no one understand the context of these are refugees? Like, they don't want
that's
to be
what I'm
Fire
saying.
Nation.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like it's hard for me to believe people who have seen like I understand being like, oh, Zuko specifically sucks.
Sure.
I've seen him hurt people. But I'm like, just because someone's from the Fire Nation doesn't mean they're trash.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get Jet thinking that because Jet's basically racist. But
Yeah.
I mean you guys aren't like that's kind of the
Yeah.
point.
You know what would have helped with that kind of notion? Having John John be
Mm,
her, last
mm,
season, but they didn't do that. Instead, he's here for
yeah.
some reason.
He's randomly just embossing Say,
Yeah.
although he doesn't really firebend
He doesn't fire
at
in a single
all,
time. Yeah.
which is
He's
weird
not allowed
because like
to.
that was his whole thing.
Yeah. Weird.
But yeah, we're just gonna pretend that's a thing, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
And like,
Also, okay,
oh,
this is like kind of a small thing, but there's a moment with that whole like when they're protecting the like refugees or whatever,
mm,
Katara uses water to make this like steam, like fog, like you can't see, and it proceeds to not waterbend, but physically piece up multiple people with her bare hands.
yep.
She gives someone a 7 piece. I counted a 7 piece combo, and I'm like, look, bro, like I'm not saying Katara can't fight. I'm saying Katara doesn't punch people. Like I've never seen that before. Like that was so crazy to
In
me.
the
Like
movie, she shoved a guy once.
I
That was in
don't
the
care
movie.
about the movie. The movie doesn't exist. But
Just
but
think
I
of
mean it
that.
was just so like I understand they're trying to make it look cool, but it was like you could have easily just had her have more water and just smack people with water, or like make some water gloves, or
But
like
water's
like
expensive. Punching people
I
is free.
I mean it's but again it's like a blurred ish scene, so like you could easily just, I don't know, like you could even just like do it and then like you see the gloves on her hand after, so you only have to see them for a second. Like, I don't know. It was just like I just remember something. I was like, wait, let me go back. I'm like, did she just like beat that dude up with her bare hair? I'm like, hey, bro, she's 12. Like, like
Right?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm
She
like,
might be 13 now. You don't.
I mean, I don't know if they're doing the ages the way they are in the show, but I'm like,
Mm,
regular Katara, regular Katara.
yeah.
If it's not water related, she can't just like bust you
Like,
out,
I'm sure
bust you
she's
up
not
as a
like
12-year-old girl.
defenseless, but we never see her like do a
No, but
Tekken 10-hit combo on
but it's
somebody.
like you had water and then you like just threw a punch. It's like,
Yeah.
huh? That's like I mean that what that's like pistol whipping a zombie. It's like, bro, just
Right.
like you just, what are you doing? Like,
That kind of reminds me of that. I don't remember what episode it's from, but that Clone Wars episode where that one guy tried to punch the commando droid and like it hurt his hand.
yes, and then immediately gets wasted. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's what
Yeah.
I felt like. It's like, bro, you could have just reloaded. Like,
Right.
like,
You're
no,
so
but
right
like,
though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's, I don't know, it was just stuff like that where I'm like, y'all just trying stuff because I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Like, I mean, everything with the painted lady is just all of it was just kind of awkward. Like, first of all, shouldn't even be here. The whole like
No, not at
purpose of it
all.
is that she's directly helping people in the Fire Nation colonies because she's like these people, you know, yeah, yes, there are Fire Nation, but they are still people too. They are actually being hurt by other Fire Nation. Like we should help them. Like,
Right.
you know, that very
There,
important that it's a Fire Nation, spirit that's helping them, whatever. And I guess it's kind of a parallel with her helping the refugees, but I still feel like it's just not the same.
it's one of those things. They're just adding stuff to add it, and it's like,
You know,
and
adding
I
it
hate to
here
say it,
takes
but it's
away
like,
from other stuff that should actually be here, but
right.
whatever.
And I'm not saying the Painted Lady is anybody's favorite episode or anything, but it's also like, it's like it very much feels like, all right, we got to give Katara something to do. Like,
Like the I'm not gonna say the only reason, but I feel like a big reason why they did this, and this might just be tinfoil hat conspiracy theory stuff, but it feels like there's been a lot of hints that kind of been leading this way. It feels like they were like when they were, developing the season, they were like, Zuko is blue spiriting around here, and we kind of maybe want to do Zutara later, at least have them have some more moments of them interacting. What if she were also a superhero? Like, what if
what
she
if she
was.
were? But it's which is funny because like she could have just been Katara. Like
You're
that,
not
I think
wrong.
that's the hard. I think that's the hardest part about the Blue Spirit thing because it's like, or not the Blue Spirit, but the Painted Lady. 'Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
you could have just been you. Like you didn't have to dress up really. I don't think
Right?
that really did anything.
It also just doesn't make sense lore wise because even Toph noticed that she was actively leaving every night. The Dai Li are actively watching the compound day and night. Like they would have seen her leave. So
Yep.
like this doesn't like I know
And they
one thing
yeah
like
they
using it
did because
against her
they
later, but
knew.
like why would you let her leave? It doesn't make sense.
Right, and they knew about it because they called her out on it later. So it's like they clearly knew what was up. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that it was
And
fine. It was just kind of like, that was kind of
like if Aang were like he is in the original show, like, fully supportive of her doing that, then I'd be more okay with it. But the fact
yeah,
that
but it
the
was
first chance he got, he chastised her for having a life and having extracurricular activities. Like,
that we're actively helping people in trouble, which is
yeah,
like their whole thing, by the way.
you can't help other people. You have to be helping me by making me dinner. Like, that's stuff.
The making me dinner is so crazy. But like, no, like it's no, but seriously, and it's weird because like you're only mad because the person who you should be mad at brought it up, and it's like,
Yes, yes.
bro, why are you not mad? Why you like Long Fang so much, bro? Like, he's clearly the worst, and you're just like, you did this, and now Long Fang can do it again. I'm like, bro, that, what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?
I do think that Long Feng in general was handled pretty well, like to an extent. Like I feel like the like that actor is one of those actors I just really like in everything he's in.
Mhm.
And him like you know being like even more actively manipulative and not just like not Saturday morning cartoon evil. Like he's like more like in the shadow manipulative. Like I liked that. Um, it but the way it was framed, it did make it a little. It was a little unclear about exactly how Azula won him over. It was kind of unclear, like,
Yeah,
oh, Azula's just kind of just
here
won.
now.
He's just here
Yeah,
now.
that was kind of my thing too. It was like at first it felt like they were gonna have this like back and forth, like, oh well, this is how you guys do this, and then it was kind of just like, well, she's lightning a bunch of people, so I'm just gonna do whatever she says,
Right.
which I get it because like
Fair.
that was crazy, but also I'm like, you also have an army, like.
Yeah.
In the original show, the reason she wins is because basically she has enough time to work with the Dai Li to like convince them that
Hmm.
she's going to win.
Yes.
And that's why she sways them. It's not like a, oh, like, yeah, I just do whatever she wants. It's a,
Hmm.
hey, I have the most votes, so I oust you basically.
Yeah. And the whole like plan that Ozai had about like, oh, we'll like siege the city, but or like that elder general guy that he like put with a little with a troop outside the walls.
Mm-hmm.
That what was the point of that? Like Azula
Nothing.
later, like was the whole point to have Azula go on her own, like kidnap that guy and
I
bring her to the
think
peace
that's what
offering?
they're going for. It's like that thing where it's like, oh, I'm gonna motivate her to take the initiative by not giving her the
But
like top
she
assignment or
already
something.
took over Omashu. Like she already proved herself. Why do you need to
I think
keep
it's
testing her?
well, I think it's like that's like a tactic I think is used on occasion by like, it's like, oh, like, never make them feel too comfortable. It's like, you can,
Yes.
you still have to earn it, even though you clearly have.
Okay.
I guess. Like, I mean,
But
that's probably what they're going for. But
yes,
like, yeah.
it just
Also, no drill,
no drill. Yep.
no drill in
No
any
drill.
capacity. Like, not even
Yep.
mentioned. Not like, oh, the Fire Nation's right outside and they've got something DB. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Hmm.
so like. I understand like you have to infiltrate to get in,
Mm.
but it's like also they didn't really need to do that. I felt like they're like, oh, we're pretending because you're like I feel like they just did it because like I did in the show, but it was like
Correct.
they immediately oust themselves within like 5 seconds. So like there was really no point in doing that.
It, it they
I mean, you
only did
literally
it
burned a.
like I guess it helped Sokka, like them kidnap Sokka, but they could have done that at any point. Like,
That's what I'm saying, Lo. You could have just. I mean, they didn't really need to. I mean, they were already gonna get Sokka. He was just looking for Sai anyway. So like, I could have just easily. They split up, so it's like, I mean, no offense to Sokka, but like, if two Dai just got to show up,
get
he has
him.
no chance.
Yeah.
So it's
Just suck him
like,
in a hole or just handcuff him. Like
even though he beat the crap out of like 10 of them escaping with like no explanation, which
the
I'm
Dai
like,
Li suck. Like genuinely,
yes,
like you're in a fully underground cavern and Sokka just runs up
made
on you and just
of
punches you. Like
earth. All
what?
they do is the glove thing. That's the
Yeah.
only thing they do. Which, like, the glove thing was cool because that was like their signature thing. But I'm like, Daily agents were doing great. They're moving crazy. Like, Joe, they're pulling the walls out of the side and
Mm-hmm.
hitting people, doing flips and
Like
crap. Like,
the
the
Dai Li,
Daily was
a
going
couple
in
of Dai Li
originally.
agents existing in the throne room during the eclipse was enough to delay them from getting
Literally.
Azula.
That's what I'm saying. The Daily was moving crazy in the original. Here, this is like they just yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they got away. Saga beat up like 10 on the way out. I'm like, bro, like no
Sokka's no
disrespect, but I'm like,
slouch, but like
he doesn't need to be taken out. Like, I mean, he did one move, took out two at the same time. I'm like, nah. Like, mind you, you're just a dude. I'm like, bro,
Hmm.
he got no powers. Boomerang
Nope.
is not that good. Like,
Nope. And like to back up like just a little bit, it is insane to me that seemingly per the text of this show, Iroh is just now joining the White Lotus.
Yeah, that's defeats the entire purpose of the White Lotus.
He, but
He's
it the like first of all, if he's just now joining, how did he know to do like the whole like hand thing with the like with that little like word like that like code words like how do you know to do that in order to get in? But also like you're expressly a senior member of this thing. Like you led the
you're like
army to
the
get this place.
OG.
Like, but like I this is the first time you're meeting Jean Jean. Like it's kind of interesting for Jean Jean to like to admit that he had also been there and even like to an extent actively be responsible for his son's death. That's a kind of fun little character bit, and that's what
Sure.
made him a deserter. But like Iroh just like showing up there, it just I don't know. That whole White Lotus thing was very weirdly handled. I didn't
Yeah.
care
And
for
it's
that.
weird because, like, again, the whole thing is like, Iroh is not just some guy. Like, Iroh is like one of the godfathers of the
Yeah.
White Lotus. Like, that's the whole thing. And he's like, and it leads to, like, in the end, when they come back and everybody, they're like, oh, dang. Like,
Yeah.
all the OGs, they got basically their own team avatar,
Hmm.
except their senior citizen version. But, man.
Yeah. Um. If there's any other like major bits before the climax?
Uh,
Yep.
One thing. Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'm like, one of the coolest bending scenes in the entire show
Yep.
is when, yeah, you know where I'm going with this,
Hmm.
is when they're like, all right, no more waiting around. We're just gonna go see the Earth King, and they just pull up, and the dial, everyone they're fighting back and everything, and they just handle business. I mean, they
Yeah.
literally just walk up the stairs and
Hmm.
nobody can touch them. They've got guys getting folded, frozen, like nothing they can do. Like Top and
Hmm.
Aang walking them down.
That
The
scene of Toph and Aang like doing that like wall spin, like
yes, and
oh,
then
that's
bringing them
so
like
sick.
bro, when Tom's got the shield and just casually blocks everything, not even phased. Qatar just whips behind him, just knocking dudes, and like it's such a baller scene because like everybody at this point is just so like, yeah, bro, we're Team
Yeah.
Avatar. Yeah, we don't wait, we don't ask, we just show up.
But that
Like,
sounds expensive, so we're not gonna do that.
which is so crazy because I'm like, bro, like, and again, it kind of comes back to my like overarching thing about this show. It just makes me want to watch the original show
For
because,
real.
like I want to see that. That was so cool. Like, there's so many moments where I feel like, oh, this didn't have the weight to it, or oh, this was way cooler than the original. I'm like, and I
Hmm.
understand this is live action animation, the budget's quite different. But I'm like, you knew this going in. You know
Yeah.
what show you're
And
doing. I
and
assume seen it.
and like not only was that was that the sequence they did kind of lame, them like hiding in these like big pots. It just felt a bit.
Bro.
I don't know. That was kind of lame. I honestly kind of glad they didn't attempt to do it because it would have been a significantly lamer version of that scene. Because you know there were a couple of moments during the climax where they basically like rip things shot for shot from it,
Yes.
but it was done so slowly and so like all the just dynamic energy was taking out of it. Like for example, the moment where Qatar like grabs Azula and lifts her up, and then
Yeah,
Dooku
and the one
immediately
leg, the
takes
one
fire lips
arm.
and breaks it. It's so
Yes.
kinetic, so quick, and like everyone is like literally in their element, like at the peak of their ability in that moment. I saw one analysis of that fight specifically, and this is so true. most of the fights in this show, but especially that one, almost feel like they're turn based because before that scene happened, Aang like blasts sends a blast at Zuko. Zuko dodges. He does return fire, but then Aang like does like triple jump like up onto a pillar to kind of get out of the way. And then Katara grabs Azula, lifts her up. And then Zuko has time to like see that, do his fire thing,
Make the
run over,
whips.
and then bah! Whereas Aang is just up there doing nothing. Like, oh, I did a triple action, so I gotta have have time to charge that. Genuinely feels like there's a cooldown on his moves. Like that should not be the case. And like whenever Katara has like the like the octopus
Yeah.
arms out, like it just feels very like slow and weightless grabbing. It just that whole scene just felt a lot lamer than any raping pen in like the climax of that. But like, which even worse. But like, it just even leading up to it, like it just felt so just underwhelming. And
Yeah.
again, another like equivalent scene that was done so much better than the original was when Toph, discovered how to use metal bending.
Yep.
So there's this like running joke that's not even a joke. It's like actually been like expressly said by people at Netflix that apparently when whenever people are developing a Netflix show, they basically have to develop it in a way where the assumption is that this will be a second screen experience. The assumption is that people will either have it on in the background or be on their phone for the majority of the time. And like there were a lot of times where the show will just kind of tell you stuff and you just kind of like oh that was for the people who weren't paying attention, like oh yeah, see, we heard tell that Azula has blue fire and can shoot lightning, isn't that scary? Like I kind of wish we had seen that firsthand before actually, I know we saw it last season, but like I feel like there should be a moment of anger or Sokka be like, we've never seen blue fire before, how do we handle that? But no, you gotta tell us instead. um so, Toph is having this, conversation with her mom, which very funny that the box has eye slits when like the mom should know that.
Bro. That was so I was just like, bro.
Like
Mind
if
you, like exactly her height too. And I'm like,
yeah,
bro, are you
if there's
serious?
eye slits, how is she not able to earthbend? Like she should be able to sense the like whatever. So, you know, there's not that fantastic match cut between Aang meeting with the Guru, which isn't in this show, but whatever. Meeting with the Guru and the Guru saying like, there's actually like, all elements are connected. Like even some or some people can even find like the smallest grain of material to metal bend, to sorry to bend and use that. Match cutting to Toph like feeling out the box and feeling the little materials inside and like using those to get herself out. Here she just like randomly like feels it once, and because the CG in the show is spotty at best sometimes, you couldn't I watched it through like three different times. It was kind of hard to tell what they were trying to show. Like maybe those were little material, maybe this is just how she senses the metal. It wasn't clear what exactly she was feeling for, and then she just metal bended. Like
Yeah.
but because the assumption is that everyone was looking at their phone at the time, she has to exclaim, "I invented metal bending!" Like, yep,
Yeah.
sure did,
We
sure
saw
did,
that.
buddy.
Yeah. We were there.
Yeah, especially when like the line leading up to that moment is like she says something to the tune of, "I know who I am," which I feel would have led perfectly into her going, I'm Ta Fei Feng, and I'm the world's greatest, earthbender alive. Like, that thing. She says that
Yeah.
later, but I feel like the build up, like saying that to her mom would have been just as poignant. But instead, she just says, "I invented metal bending." Like, okay, why does
Okay.
that matter to her? Like, it just. I was like, you don't know that. Maybe someone else did. Like,
You don't know that.
maybe someone did it before you. You don't know. Like, I don't. Just the whole way that scene was done was so awkward. Yeah, it just.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole thing with like again not having the guru at any capacity, and it's not even not having the guru, it's not addressing how the avatar state works really. Like
No,
it just kind of
you have
assume this stuff.
you have Yang Shin briefly mention something about if you die in the Avatar state, you die in real life or whatever, or every Avatar dies.
Yeah.
And I think she also may have mentioned something about gaining knowledge from past avatars. So like they kind of did like part of it, but I feel like it's also. I feel like the guru part is very pivotal to Aang's story
Mm-hmm.
because it's like his moment to fully really wrestle with the fact of like, oh, in order for me to actually be the Avatar, I need to, you know, distance
Let
myself from the
go.
things I love. Like I need like that's him fully acknowledging I love Katara. I can't give that up.
Mm-hmm.
In
Which
this show,
also,
outside of one scene at the ball, there wasn't a hint of him even maybe being attracted to her.
yeah, which is something that I kind of like. I also don't like about the show because I feel like they're going away from it.
Yeah, which leads
Which kind of leads
back
to
to
what you were saying earlier.
Katara.
Yeah, which I'm like, please don't. But whatever. But also, I feel like that's important. Like that whole thing is important because again, that's part of the struggle he has in season 3. Because as
Mhm.
the Avatar, you're supposed to, I'm a pacifist. I don't take life. I'm an Earthbender. As the Avatar, you need to take distance yourself to what you want and do what's best for the world. And in this case, kill that man. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
right.
like, and I feel like
So
that's just like part of his whole journey of trying to do what's right for the world without necessarily like compromising everything he believes in.
yeah. So instead of having any kind of like major character moment, revelations, like anything of note, instead he's losing it to Azula and then just decides, okay, I'm going to go to the Avatar state now, and like lays on the ground meditating while Azula just standing there doing nothing. Again,
With
it's his
no
turn.
rock shield,
Yeah, no
which
rock
was
shield. Like,
very
oh,
important the first
she's
time.
gonna honor the turn-based structure we have. She already did her attack, so I'm free to
Listen,
do. I'm free to charge up my move. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, whenever, no, it's so funny because I always joke whenever someone asks if Avatar is an anime or not, I say no because Azula didn't wait for Aang to transform.
and now then it's
and that always work. And it's the thing, but here it's like, yeah, he just like kind of just decides, like, hang on, give me a second, and then, all right, I'm ready. And I think it's interesting this time because, like, in the original, there's this big moment where he like starts raising up in the air, and then it's like everyone gets nervous. Katara gets really happy, and then he gets sneaked, and then Katara immediately like, oh god. And here it's like completely different. I mean,
no,
he's
we
in
gotta
the
have a
Emperor
little
State.
fight. Why?
Right? I mean, he starts just beating the crap out of Azula, and then
Just stops
stops,
for
like
no
unplugs
reason.
his controller for a second, and then she's
It's
just
like,
like,
okay, it's that.
okay, like
It,
like it felt like it was such a opposite moment for so many characters because it's like the whole moment. It's such a big good moment in the original because it's like it's supposed to be this big, the heroes were about to have this big, some awesome moment because just like the end of last season. Aang just out of nowhere gets this crazy power and just wipes the playing field. And you
Mhm.
think he's about to run it back, but then because Azula's so awesome, she just like, not so fast here. And then here it's kind of just like there's nothing really clever or smart about it. He just
Nope.
kind of forgets to to finish the
Yeah.
job, and then
Like, again, I know it's kind of a meme, but it's like that classic George Lucasism of like, oh, I just kind of wrote then they fight.
yeah,
For you didn't have to write then they fight, but instead of having any kind of character moment at all between either of them, oh, Azula and Avatar Aang are gonna fight for a little bit. Aang is gonna clearly win, and then for no reason just decide not to finish her off.
again, could have incapacitated her, could have like restrained her, put her in like
Mm-hmm.
a rock prison. He had plenty of it. Like any type of like
Zuko
anything.
could
He
have
just like
distracted him, like the Daily could have like
anything. I mean,
could have
like
been
he just completely just stops.
yep.
And then it's
And then
like,
instead of having sucker punching him or having some kind of clever moment, she just does it.
yeah.
Shoots him right in the chest, even though later they still heal his back because that's what they did in the original show. Even though Chloe entered through the front, but whatever.
I guess it's supposed to be like that's where it left his body. Because I think that's what
But
happens in the original. Because like
in the
it
original, it
goes
goes
through
to his
his
back and
foot.
leads through his foot. Yeah.
Oh, it goes through his back and leaves through. Oh, okay, I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, because like the
Ah,
bundle of chakra that needs to be released is in his back that he hits. So that's how we
okay,
got it. Yeah.
okay.
Um. So I saw a fantastic suggestion of how to fix that scene, and I'm basically headcanon this is what happened until proven otherwise. So like in a better version of this that would actually show actual cleverness and strategy, but also utilizing a Chekhov's gun that wasn't actually used in this season. Wouldn't it have been so cool if in that moment Azula is getting pieced up, she shoots lightning like she did at the beginning. Aang dodges it, and on the other side is Zuko who redirects it back into
No,
him.
no. I ain't gonna lie, that would have gone crazy. That would have gone
Right?
crazy.
Like it misses, and then you
And
can
he
still
has
have a
that
moment of like,
split
oh no,
second
like
moment where he's like, he has that split second moment where he's like, you could like shoot Azula, but he shoots it back at Aang
yeah,
instead.
or
Like that's
something.
his.
I get like that would have been such a good character moment. Like
Imagine if that was his like turning point. Like
yeah.
instead of this moment where it's like the obvious like they have the standoff and he just it was like like
Mm-hmm.
because here it was so telegraphed and wasn't like really built up at all
Yeah.
because we only had like 5 seconds of Zuko not being a jerk. It's like you could have had like maybe that would have been a better one where it's like like she shoots lightning and then like Zuko's they're not even like he's not even in the standoff yet. It's just coming towards him
Mm-hmm.
via collateral, and then he kind of has that split second choice of like who am I gonna shoot it at?
Right. And
That could be
then,
interesting.
you know, I feel that could have been a kind of fun act if you want to make changes, a kind of fun moment of change where in season 3 of the original, Zuko is riddled with guilt over knowing that Azula lied and said that he was the one that took out the Avatar when it really was Azula, and he knows that other shoe is going to drop. He's like at some point my dad's going to find out. Like I know I'm not good enough for this. Like I don't know how this is going to play out. I need to hire this assassin to go kill him to just remove the problem entirely. I think it would have been very interesting to actually have Zuko be welcomed in as the guy who actually killed the Avatar, or seemingly killed the Avatar. I think that would have been, if there is, if you are going to make a change, I think that would have been a cool one to do. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, because he still did have this kind of awkward metamorphosis, but it still works well enough. Uh, again, kind of rushed, but like it's whatever. Like he still kind of he still did betray his uncle. He still does have this feeling of like I got along with Katara, who was friends with him. Like we've I fought with him before when we were breaking out of that compound. Like you know maybe we could have been friends. Like I don't like I think that could have been a fun thing for him to wrestle with. And then like when he somehow learns that the Avatar is alive, then you know, especially oh no, since he does know that um Tara does have that healing water, like he thinks the Avatar can still be alive, so he's like, he wants to make up for directly, almost killing him. I think that would have been a lot more interesting.
Mm,
Yeah.
that would have been bad. I think that was because I think that's my thing. It's like if you're gonna actively have liberties with changes and like just add stuff, like go in a direction. I'm not gonna say like just write it well, but like you know what I mean. Like go in a direction that's different but still engaging in the same way. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like I feel like they're just changing stuff to make it easier on the budget and not just because they think it's a better way or a different way of telling the same story. And I think that's why it's
Yes.
annoying because it's like I know you were gonna change stuff, but the reason you're changing stuff is kind of lame.
Yeah. I do. Thinking of Zuko's change, I do actually kind of like his like the expanded relationship he had with that girl. Him meeting her at the tea shop, like actually getting a job there, spending more time with her. Iroh kind of
Hmm.
seeing that they do work well together. Then after his metamorphosis, him like actually going on that date after that. Like I think him just wanting to return to a normal life. I think that's fun. It's a little weird that they went to the Lantern Festival and the lanterns already lit, but
Yeah,
whatever. Because
kind
again,
of just
it's a
ignored
character
that.
moment that they just removed from him, but whatever. Um, I still did like that change, that individual change I liked, but it like there's just individual little moments like that do not make up for just
No,
every other just thing they do wrong throughout.
yeah, and just like really cool stuff they just unexplicably take out. Like this isn't really in the film, but like earlier this season, there's supposed to be, there's that moment where Zuko's trying to take Appa
Mm-hmm.
for with no plan per usual, and then
Yep.
Iroh's just like, "What do you do?" Like he has that really
Yeah.
his speech where he's like, "I want to figure it out." I was like, and then what? You don't think things through. He has this big, really powerful speech, which is so
because
good.
because there's that cascading domino effect of them and not having that scene in season one of him taking Avatar out into the night.
Exactly. So now you can't even have these like in this big moment, and like that's one of the core moments in their relationship because this is officially like that is like officially where Zuko decides for the first time
Mhm.
maybe being the bad guy is not for me, and it's like it's this huge moment, and I still get shivers whenever that whatever it's like, oh man.
Right? Like Iroh can it's one of those things where Iroh says those same words just in a very different context. And like given what was happening with Zuko at the time, it kind of works, but it
Really?
yeah. Like it, here he's standing over Aang's body because they're all in the library, and he just decides not to, and then goes back home, and it's just there's no
Moment
mo-
of like this is that he just
just
kind of
decides
just
not to.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Oh, one thing I've got to bring up that I think is again emblematic of just that happened in the original, it has to happen here. Um, After Appa was taken, Aang is like yelling for him, and then
Mhm.
he like goes into the Avatar state out of anger, and then the beginning of the next episode he just goes out of it.
Yeah.
Like he barely even left the ground. He was like what? But like, and then again when they were meeting with the king, he like goes into the Avatar state for half a second, and then just goes at it. Like what? I don't. It just makes it feel kind of lame that he. I don't know. It is one of those little things they changed that didn't. Didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't really work. And it's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And again, Appa's only missing for like an episode, so it
Yes.
really doesn't have nearly the same impacts.
He's gone for all of episode 6, and then but at the end of episode 6, he like feels him right below him. Somehow the Lake Loud guy prison is right below the compound that they're staying at. Why would they do that? Why would they put, since if they know that Aang is actively trying to learn earthbending, why would they put Appa in a jail cell right below where Aang is?
No idea.
And Lake Loud guy doesn't even like really exist. Like it kind of like there's that one moment of the guard like basically retraining Judy and like a kind of fun like
Mhm.
it's like the rhythmic like of I don't know if it was like throwing a stone like some kind of like other like rhythmic kind of hypnosis that was
Yeah.
fun. But they're but the mechanist was disappeared there just to go to regular jail. It wasn't, and Jet was never taken there either. So like outside
Right.
of
So there's
Judy
no like real,
specifically, there's no other
no
like
like retraining, no reprogramming, brainwashing of any kind. It's
yeah
kind of just prison with extra steps for some reason.
yeah like the yeah Psy was he was stir crazy from being down there for who knows how long, but he wasn't clearly he still
I mean,
was
it was
the same
fine.
person. Yeah.
Also, a side note for Psy,
Mhm.
all I hear is Abed, bro. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that actor, but yeah, unfortunately, you're just gonna be
It's
out it
hard,
forever.
bro. It's hard, but it's so funny because all I can imagine is that Larry King. He's like, I'm on Ducktales, Sokka. Like I'm not like that's all I'm. But no,
Grandpa, I'm a
Danny
duck.
Pudi is amazing. I like him a lot, but I was just like, it was one of those things where like I was just like, oh man, I can't unsee it now.
Mhm.
But he did a good job though. He's a good
Oh yeah,
character.
I really
But
liked him.
yeah, no, like yeah, it's just so weird because it's like again with this whole thing and like this whole season, it just feels like it was rushed and such big stuff
Hmm.
was just left out. And it's like you feel it on two ends because it's like stuff that should have been built up in season one wasn't. So we don't get the payoffs in season two.
Hmm.
And then stuff here that's not built up, we're not going to get payoffs later, which is also really annoying.
Yep. And like I don't even it's little things. Like I don't really think you needed to do the whole spirit swamp that gave Aang a vision about Toph. Like I'm fine with him finding her a little more naturally,
But
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 it's
the
still
swamp it's in but it's this
it is
swamp
important.
as a whole is important just because A, the swamp benders come back on the whole day of Black Sun thing, which
Hmm.
they end up being important. And
Yep.
also I think it's just like I think it's important too because like that it's not just for Aang to see like a vision of Top, but like Sokka has that whole thing with Suki and
Hmm.
Chitara with her mom, and like it's a lot. It establishes a lot of more spiritual stuff
Yeah.
as far as like the swamp's connected to everything. And also too, it's just like it didn't have to be a whole episode. It could have just been
Yeah.
on the way. And I feel the same way about the desert thing. I feel like that was really weird that they just didn't
Hmm.
do it at all. It's like this is
Yep.
a this is a big part of the show. And I'm not saying they do everything, but like this a big part of this, especially after the library, where they're
Yes.
literally just like, I mean, Katara's
Strangers.
holding everybody together. Aang just goes off to find Appa, no one who knows where. Toph can't see, and
Hmm.
Sokka's, high off a cactus juice. So Katara has to literally carry everybody and just keep going forward and just
Hmm.
getting us from A to B, basically.
No, but
Like I think it's a
instead
really big
they decided to kidnap Appa in a situation where his presence didn't matter at all.
correct.
Like they could just walk back to the room. It's not going to take that long.
Yes.
Like,
Mind you, when they had Appa, they didn't use him for his like number one purpose in the first
yep,
place to just go to the Earth King off rip,
yep.
which would have made so much more sense.
Also, a very funny little detail that just kind of proves that the writers don't even care about the show that they're making. Like even season one, I said they already made one retcon earlier. When Aang is first searching for Appa, he crafts a little whistle, to blow into to try to find him, even though
Mm-hmm.
he definitely already had one. In season one, the first thing he did was blow into his Appa whistle to summon him at the South Pole. Like he definitely
Mm-hmm.
already had one. Yet he he formed a new one. It just did. I don't like to say he already had it. Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, like maybe he just lost it, whatever, and that I don't know, but
Maybe it was
yeah.
on Jet's body when it disappeared. I don't know.
It was right, it's gone.
Yeah.
That is still so crazy to me. How they like, I'm like, why is his stuff like? I would like, cause I thought they were gonna do the like, do the like the force thing where it's just like, oh yeah, like his clothes are just there now, and I'm just like,
Mm,
oh no, his
no.
swords, his clothes,
He
everything.
just
I'm
poops.
like,
Just pops
yeah,
up.
I was like, they literally just like cropped him out of reality. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh,
I do
all
kind of
right,
funny that they said he's dead like 4 or 5 times just to drill it in because it wasn't clear in the
yeah.
last.
Yeah, which again, them completely changing that is so weird to me because it's
Weird.
like, why? Like, let Jet have his moment and like,
Right? But like equivalent moments, like the one where Jet and Zuko have their sword battle, lose all purpose. Because in that, Zuko is literally fighting out of self defense because he's being accused of this thing and actively not wanting to use firebending. But here, since he's in blue spear mode, it doesn't. It's the
matter.
context is completely different.
Yeah.
It was a decent fight, but it felt
Yeah, but it's
just
it's not earned. It's not cool.
yeah.
It's just it's random.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, I, and I don't want to just constantly say that the show does everything wrong and bad, but when 98% of the stuff the show does is wrong and bad, I just can't help but call it out. Like, and it's not just that it's different from the original show. It's like it almost every single thing doesn't even like serve the purpose within this version of the show. Just they're just doing stuff just to do stuff. And most stuff they do is either confusing or doesn't move the plot
doesn't
in
make
any meaningful
sense.
way or have any character development or just I don't know. I don't get it.
That's the thing. I don't think there's anything to get.
Yeah. This season. Are there any other like major character moments or plot points or just stuff that either changed or left out or something you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. It's like I mean, there is some positive stuff. I mean, like I do like how they immediately was just like, hey, he's taller, joke out of the way. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, they didn't
I
like make it weird. I mean, it's fine because it's like you have to address it somewhat because I'm like he grew like a foot,
Yes,
so
it would have
like,
been. I know this isn't how time works, but I wish they had filmed at least season one and two back to back. So then when season three happens after an actual significant time skip, he wakes up from the coma, he has visibly aged. I think that would have been cool, but
yeah, that would have been
you know,
cool.
but instead they filmed season two and three back to back. So any time skip that does happen won't feel as, whatever. Um, yeah, it is very funny that in season one, like the actor they picked for Aang like looked and acted pretty much exactly like you think he's like. I think the stuff he was given to say and do was always a little iffy, but like the performance he gave, I thought was about as good as any given actor could do for Aang. But now that he's taller and sounds different, he just sounds whiny most of the time. He just sounds it just doesn't it's just not as good as it was. And like I know again, you can't help it, that's how time works, but
Yeah,
it just they got literally they found the actor when he was actually like 13, and they didn't think to go ahead and film 3 seasons now when he's gonna be like this. He's not gonna be like this forever. Yeah, they could have pulled a Lord of the Rings and filmed everything at once and just released it, yearly. But now that they chose to take a 2 year skip between seasons. Genius. The Toph actress, but she was great though. I felt like pretty much
Yes.
everything she did was,
Yes.
like
No, I mean,
as like to embody Toph. I felt she did a good
yeah.
job.
I was about to say she sounded great. I mean, she sounded like the voice was very close. I was pretty impressed. Like the voice sounds similar. There were definitely some funny moments, especially with the blind jokes. And it
Yeah.
was like there's that moment where it's like he puts the blindfold on. He's like, "How can I bend something and I can't see it?" She's just like, "Okay, whoa." Like I thought that was really funny. Like
Mhm.
I think she was probably my favorite actor in the whole season.
I agree. Yeah. And the little little thing about her like constantly being propositioned by suitors is very fun. Like everyone in the city like wanting to be part of the baseball family.
Yeah,
That's
want to be in
fun.
the family, and
Yeah.
she's just like, "Get away from me."
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
I'm trying to think what else I was thinking. I feel like May and Ty Lee were just kind of there.
Yeah.
They didn't really do like anything. Like, and that's not their fault, but it's like I feel like in the actual show, they're legit threats. Like they do a lot of
Yes.
fighting. They are problems. And here they're kind of just next to Azula when Azula does evil stuff.
But like because they removed 80% of the scenes they were in, they didn't ever do anything.
Right.
So that's just like just we've said many times, just the pacing of the show is so bad that like any like you know most character moments have to be implied because we didn't see it happen. We have to
Right.
infer that these characters actually like each other. We have to infer that at some point Aang, I guess, learned waterbending off screen, because he didn't learn it all in season 1. We have to infer that Azula's troop actually like each other enough for Azula to crash out after they leave her. Like because those character moments didn't really happen, you know, we just it, I'm so curious how this show plays to someone who has never seen the original. Like, just, are they just confused the entire time, or are they
Probably.
like? Do they also think it's bad? Do they? Is it better to them? I don't know.
If I would assume someone who's never seen the original would just think it's fine. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's not my favorite show, but there's some cool moments." And I
Mm,
like they would like the concepts, but they probably would be like, "I wish like the bending was more creative." And then I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh, it is. Don't worry."
Yes.
But
Like, even just
yeah,
choreography in general. Like, just that one little moment during the Jet versus Zuko fight in the original where Jet like links the swords together to like get like more range on him.
yeah, like chain
That's very
together.
creative and cool. It's not even bending, but it's
Yes.
still very cool.
Yeah, no, it's just there's just really good choreography. Like there's so many different types of
Mm,
fights and so many like especially with bending. Like the cool thing about bending was like there was always a way to apply it, especially in a fight, that you never thought of, but as soon as someone did it, you didn't question it like, oh, that's not possible. It's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Like, like even like with season 1 where like there's that scene where like Katara's getting pushed out and then she like bends the like ice around her feet and you can't
Yeah.
knock me down. I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. That makes total sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can just do that. Or like, you know what I mean? It's just
Oh yeah.
like stuff that applies on the fly. It's cool, smartly written, and just like in a way like you can tell they really thought about it.
Yeah.
Versus here, it's a lot of just da da boom, and it's like, bro, like
Hmm.
putting like, especially with the Dai Li, and again the earth bending, the lack of earth
Hmm.
bending for the Dai Li is just so like there were so many times that Dai Li did like open the ground or like hit you with something behind, like there was a lot of misdirection with their bending that here they
Hmm.
just don't do, and it was really frustrating.
Yeah.
There's also just like, yeah, like I don't know, man. There's like,
Yeah. I'm just generally disappointed. And and again, like I said up top, I'm not expecting it to be as good as the original show, but at the same time, you are going to be directly compared to the best
yeah,
season of one of the best shows of all time. Like
yeah,
this is the
as he
output you make.
should.
It just I don't understand how anyone could make this and expect fans of the original to accept it. Unless the purpose of making it this bad is to get those fans talking and the whole adage of all publicity is good publicity, but that no, stop that.
I mean, it's doing its job because like people are watching it. We are talking about it, but it's also like it's not
Well,
again, like we
actually,
said from the beginning. Oh wait, hold
apparently
on.
season one, its first week had 21 million viewers, whereas this season had like 8.3.
Oh yeah, people are out.
Yeah, people watched season one,
Yeah,
weren't invested, and left.
yeah, and I think that's fair because again, I think they saw like, oh, they're making changes and things aren't as interesting.
Yeah.
Eh.
Not to mention the marketing was terrible. I didn't even remember. I didn't realize the show was coming
I
out
was
the week it
thinking
came
too.
out.
I'm like, it was just out one day. I was like,
Yeah.
they didn't really hype this at all. Like, I don't know. I just thought of another reason why I don't like this version. I forgot. One of my
Yeah.
favorite Iroh moments was not in it.
Oh, the tea part. The like. Yeah.
Yes!
That's
Where
why they
he's
call me
like,
the
did I
Dragon of the
ever tell
West.
you how the Dragon of the West? Dude, that is the sickest moment. Like, that's one of the sickest moments in the whole show. Cause
Hmm.
like, you know it's about to go down, but it's like, bro, that was so like the way it's so clean. And then he escapes with the lightning. It's like, bro, that was
Hmm.
I forgot about that. Because they don't really even have an interaction until the crossroads moment, right? Because they don't even like capture them. Like Zuko's
No.
captured as the blue spirit and then is
Hmm.
down there, and Iroh goes with Aang. Mind you, Iroh and Aang don't really have that talk that they have either. They have like a different talk, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they're just down there now. And then they just escape together. So like
Hmm.
yeah, there's not really a moment where Azula actually captures them. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I don't.
Eh,
Yeah, that was weird,
uh,
man.
yeah. I
Oh, it just makes me want to watch the original show more,
for
man.
real, like genuinely, I
Because I'm like, dang, that's so cool. I'm like, man, I want to watch that scene again. And I'm
like,
like,
and
man,
I'm sure there's even stuff that we like important stuff that we even kind of forgot
oh yeah.
about that
'Cause, I
they
mean, I
just
just thought of that just
yeah,
now. So yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Like I'm genuinely kind of nervous for season three because like you're already pulling the Patient Lady up into this season, leaving even less stuff. So are they
right.
only going to do 7 episodes again next season?
Ugh.
Like I could imagine them doing something kind of similar where yeah, like the eclipse happens in like episode 2 or 3, and then Zuko joins them next episode. Then you have I guess the boiling rock if they're even gonna, but
They have to do the
they have
boiling
to,
rock,
I guess.
bro. Because I mean, you got to get Suki back.
Yeah, but Zuko like um like
I can see a
because you
thing where
have
they
to do
do.
Southern Raiders, I guess.
I could see a thing where they do all of the Zuko adventures in one episode, maybe.
But Boiling Rock
Which
was
I
the
would
two
hate.
parters. That's basically an hour
I
episode
know, but
anyway.
that's the thing. They're just gonna make See, they're gonna make the Boiling Rock like really short, probably. They're gonna do the "That's rough, buddy" joke because they
Yep.
have to, even though it's gonna be stupid. And then they're gonna like go in, find everybody, find a quick escape route, and then have that fight, and then it's gonna be lame. And I don't
Hmm.
know, like they're gonna do, like I feel like yeah, they're gonna like rush it, and then yeah, I don't know.
I don't, I don't
Not
know.
a fan.
I have a strong suspicion that they're not going to have Sparky Sparky Boom Man.
Yeah.
Unless he's a like one and done. Like unless there's only one episode. Oh,
Yeah, maybe.
I similar. How do they basically fuse a bunch of episodes together into the second episode? I could maybe see them fusing the beach episode, the which I think also involves Sparky Sparky Boom Man. Maybe also have and like kind of tie that in with the that bit where Aang and Toph or Toph and Qatar, yeah, Toph and Qatar like do like the like
Oh yeah, yeah,
scams
yeah, yeah.
around.
Yeah, the runaway or whatever.
Yeah, I think the either tie it in with that or tie it in with the school bit
Oh, right. I
because
forgot
I
about
feel like
that.
that's kind of
The
important.
Footloose one.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, you're right. No, it's not.
I'm like, it's not. It's a very iconic episode, but it's not
Yeah,
super important. Like I could easily see them skipping that one
yeah,
entirely.
and that's kind of the thing with season three is that I'm not going to say that any given episode is filler because the
Well,
Zuko and Azula plot is always
yeah,
pivotal, but
more
the
important.
Aang stuff they're just kind of doing stuff. I mean, you can
Yeah,
consider
no,
the beach
they're
stuff a little
literally
bit.
doing side quests.
Yeah, but so there are good chunks of season three that if they don't do, I wouldn't be like surprised, but also those are still character moments. Those are still lore
Yeah,
bits that we aren't gonna get otherwise. Like the whole Avatar and the Fire Lord.
yeah.
That's kind of
Everything with
important.
yeah, especially when Zuko has the realization that like, oh, your mom's the descendant of Roku, and it's like, oh,
Yeah. It is Iroh that tells him that story, right? Or
it's yeah, it's like he like reads it,
yes.
I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the catacombs or something, but it's
Hmm.
like Iroh also like once he like reads it, he like comes to Iroh and Iroh like explains to him in prison. I'm also interested to see how they handle that.
Yeah. Because like I love the actor they got for Iroh. I think he does about as good as you could do
Yeah,
given the material. But like that actor can only get so ripped. He could like I don't think they're gonna like you
nah,
can't really have
you're
that
gonna do a
same
little bit.
moment. But I do think they are gonna actually show him escaping, which I don't want, but I think they are gonna show him escaping.
Yeah, they probably will. I mean, it'll just be like, hopefully it's just quick though.
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, I think the next season's coming out next year, so it'll be over soon enough.
Yeah, and then they'll do live action The Legend of Korra.
I doubt it.
You
The ratings of
imagine?
season
Oh
three will not be
man.
good enough to warrant that. I guarantee it.
No, I no, that would not go well. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is interesting. But yeah, like I said, it just kind of gives me the feeling of like, the original show did this a lot better, and that,
Eh,
and kind of
pretty much
everything.
everything.
There's a handful of lines in there, in this version that I like, but it doesn't
Sure.
make up for 98% of it.
Yeah. All right.
But
Anything else?
that's all I got. That's all I can think of. I think I'm out of nitpicks for now
Okay.
after 2 hours.
Yeah. I didn't think this would take longer than last time, but it was warranted. Even though it was shorter, they
Well,
messed up more stuff apparently.
it's because it's a bigger season. Like I
Yeah,
think season one, season one has a lot of stuff you can skip. I feel like season two does not, and they feel
and
like
they
they
did
skipped
though.
more.
Yeah, man, that's like when I first saw it was 7 episodes. Like, is one not even out yet? Like, nope, nope. They just do fewer episodes for some reason. I've never seen a Netflix show only have 7 episodes. It's always
I
like
was
eight
thinking
or
that
more.
also. I was like, I thought eight was their like standard, but apparently
Yeah,
not.
whatever.
Do you
All
feel
right,
like they
well,
had another episode and then just cut it? Because it almost feels like it.
like there may have been a traveling episode that was cut. Maybe I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, let us know down below what you thought. Yeah, I'm curious to see if anyone actually liked this season. Yeah, let us know what you thought. And with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care.